Welcome back. The Embarrassed Colonialist, a book by renowned Australian journalist and former ABC correspondent in Papua New Guinea, Sean Donny, was launched in Port Moresby recently. It highlights Australia's ignorance towards its former colony, Papua New Guinea. However, Donny also suggests areas in which Australia can improve to re-engage with its closest neighbour. Mickey Cavera reports.
The PNG launch of the Embarrassed Colonialist was held in Port Moresby. It was well attended by people from all walks of life. At the center of the launch was the man himself, Sean Donny, a former ABC correspondent who spent more than 2 decades in Papua New Guinea. His experience living and working in Papua New Guinea puts him in a better position to pen the pages of the Embarrassed Colonialist. Put simply, Sean tells a story of a colonial master that neglected its colony. It also points to the lack of knowledge and understanding of Papua New Guinea by Australians. However, Sean attempts to shed some light on this ignorance by educating Australians to better understand PNG through his book.
This book was written more for an ignorant Australian audience than an informed Papua New Guinea one. My aim was to try to get more Australians to think about our connections and about our relations with this country that we Australians ruled for 7 decades. And my title, The Embarrassed Colonialist, was partly driven by the fact that if you're an Australian primary or secondary school student these days, you could go through 12 years of education without learning that Australia was ever a colonial power, and that we had the responsibility of helping create another country. If that was something we as Australians were proud of, then you would think we would teach our children about it.
For those that attended, it was an enlightening moment to listen firsthand to the experience of Sean Donny as a journalist living and working in Papua New Guinea. Sean was commissioned by the Lowy Institute of Australia to write this book to commemorate PNG's 40 years of independence. Mickey Cavera, NBC National News, Port Moresby.
Police have done a breakthrough into the Hanuabade shooting incident investigation. The incident occurred early last year where 2 Hanuabade villagers, late Nicholas Warua and Tokagaudi, were allegedly shot by police. A year later, and despite critics, the police commissioner is adamant that the investigation report will be made soon. He today told NBC National News in a telephone interview that he is yet to receive a report from the investigation team on the progress of the investigation.
We've done some breakthrough on it, but I want to be certain on what the investigations has uncovered, and then I can talk on that. I'm aware that there's the investigation progress in terms of the identification of the weapon and the policemen involved, but I needed to see the report before I can make a comment on it.
The nursing profession can also be about spiritual care as much as it is about patient care. That's the current focus of a week-long Southern Region Nurses Christian Fellowship Conference hosted in Alatau, Mulin Bay Province this week. Priscilla Waikari with this report from Alatau.
Nursing officers from the Southern Region have converged in Alatau this week for their biannual Nurses Christian Fellowship Conference, which began on Monday with a parade through Alatau town. Nurses had come from Gulf, Central and Ora provinces to join hosts Milne Bay to network and remind each other of the important role they play in looking after lives.
This is a Nurses Christian Fellowship Conference, and it's normally hosted every 2 years. The last host was Oro Province, and Milne Bay was voted in for this year. NCF is an organization, or it's a group that encourages nurses in the professional body, which is nursing, providing care every day, to facilitate the spiritual care.
Themed partnership with the Holy Spirit for Compassion, the cornerstone of care, it seeks to sit under the teachings of various pastors and leaders to rekindle their love of God and of the role they play as caregivers. The Nurses Christian Fellowship is a worldwide interdenominational movement based on Christian principles, which reached Papua New Guinea shores in 1992 and has seen membership grow each year over the need to also provide spiritual care in the profession. It ends this Friday with the next venue to be voted on for 2018. Priscilla Waikaidi, NBC National News, Alotau.
Overseas, the head of the FBI has defended his recommendations not to file charges against the presidential hopeful Hillary Clinton over her private use of email. James Comey told the House committee that Mrs. Clinton was careless, but she did not break the law.
While in office, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton solely used a private server to send email. It was not protected. It was not sanctioned. But the question has been, was it illegal? An indictment surely would have kept her from being the Democratic nominee for president.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that...
This is the man, FBI Director James Comey, who made sure that didn't happen. And the Republicans in Congress hounded him to find out why he didn't recommend that she be charged with a crime.
What does it take for someone to misuse classified information and get in trouble for it?
Oh, it takes mishandling it and criminal intent.
He testified he couldn't prove she intended to break the law or that it was gross negligence, both required to get a conviction. But throughout his testimony, he explained she did repeatedly lie to the public.
Secretary Clinton, during a presidential debate, said, "I never sent or received any classified material. They are retroactively classifying it."
Yeah, it's not accurate to say that she did not send or receive classified.
So she did not tell the truth during that presidential debate.
She said at one point that she has directed all emails, work-related emails, to be forwarded to the State Department. Is it also accurate that you discovered thousands of other emails that were work-related other than the 30,000 that she submitted?
Correct.
Secretary Clinton said she used just one device. Was that true?
She used multiple devices during the 4 years.
One device.
Political analysts say this scandal will hurt her because it reinforces the widely held belief that she can't be trusted.
She's not indicted legally, but I say she's indicted in the court of public opinion. So if the Republicans had had a normal, sane candidate, the race would be pretty much over. But there's probably, in our 320, 330 million Americans, there's probably only one person that Hillary Clinton can beat, and that's a Republican presumptive nominee.
But this scandal is not going away. The committee says many of her statements the FBI now says were not true. She also repeated to Congress under oath. Knowingly lying to Congress is a felony. Now the FBI will begin another criminal investigation into whether she broke that law.
And do stay with us on NBC National News.